Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ballet Rain. So as ballet dancers and ballet YouTubers, we often get a lot of questions about the differences between the men's and the women's ballet technique. Now, for the girls, it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, point work, obviously, is pretty unique to the female dancers as they start point work at a very young age, 12 or 13, and all of the point steps and point technique becomes a very integral part of the ballerina's vocabulary.
But you may ask, what about our male ballet dancers? Are there any steps or techniques that are completely unique to them? The answer, of course, to this is yes, hence the video. There are indeed quite a few ballet steps that are specific to the male dancer.
As a matter of fact, as young dancers, the boys will often get specific male technique classes, the same way that the girls get specific point technique classes, so that the young men can hone their danseur skills in addition to the general ballet technique that's practiced by both men and women.
So today we're going to be sharing with you 10 of the most common male ballet steps, and by the end of this video, you are definitely going to agree with us that our male dancers are absolute superheroes for being able to perform them.
So if you are as excited as we are, then hit that like button and we will go. Let's go. To preface this video, obviously we are girls.
Surprise.
So a lot of the steps in this list we have actually never done before.
No.
Naturally, we're not experts on the mechanics and the technical details of all of these steps, and this video is purely from the female point of view.
That being said, if you are a male dancer watching this video, first of all, hey, thanks for being here. Please feel free to enlighten us in the comments on your opinions on these steps, and let us know if there are any others you'd like to add.
Starting the list off strong, we are going in with the double tour en l'air, and I think this is like the bread and butter of the danseur technique.
Honestly, yeah, I feel like next to like pirouettes and things like that, I think the male dancers, like one of the most commonly used staple steps for the male dancer is the double tour en l'air.
It is quintessentially danseur. Every single male variation that you find will most likely have a double tour in some shape, form, or fashion in there.
The double tour is basically a jump where he'll take off from 2 feet, turn 2 rotations. I mean, you could do a single tour as well, one rotation, but generally 2 rotations in the air and then land.
Yep, because it's a double tour.
Yeah.
Go around twice and
Exactly.
land. There's a lot of different variations of the double tour. They can be done in passe as well.
Yeah.
So you go up, jump into a passe position, turn twice, and then land.
Yeah.
They can land in fifth, they can land to the knee, they can land in a lunge.
Yeah.
There are lots of different exits and positions in the air that all encapsulate double tour.
Double tour. This step is the most commonly used
Yes.
of the male dancer steps in the vocabulary, but for good reason, honestly. But even though they're really common, I feel like they're really hard to master.
Yeah.
Common, but not easy.
Especially like tours from fifth to fifth. I feel like those are the most unforgiving. Because you have clean fifth, then double tour, then land in a clean fifth. I think we've talked about this before on the channel. You know, like in Désirée variation, that tour passage is very hard because it's fifth to fifth. But of course, when done correctly, it's absolutely brilliant.
Breathtaking.
I, as a female dancer, love watching double tours. I mean, I love all of the steps on our list today, honestly.
But the double tour en l'air is a staple for a reason. Next up on the list is the double cabriole. Also kind of a big staple step for the male ballet vocabulary. Now, cabrioles are a step that are practiced by both the men and the women. The girls generally will just do a single cabriole. You can see that in the Gamzati variation and several others.
Shades.
Paquita.
Paquita.
For the men though, even though they will occasionally do the single cabriole, I believe in Swan Lake they have single cabriole there. A lot of the time they will do a double cabriole, so instead of beating just one time, they'll beat twice in the air.
Double cabrioles are very commonly found in classical rep for our gentlemen, and they're absolutely stunning.
Immaculate.
I love double cabriole because it requires a ton of lift in order to get both those beats in.
Something about it makes it look like they jumped higher or like sustain longer in the air.
Oh,
It
yeah.
has that ballon, so like that hang in the air that we always love to see in our jumps.
Some famous places where you can find double cabriole is the Solor variation from La Bayadere.
Yes.
He comes in with his giant, gorgeous double cabriole. I think Albrecht has some double cabrioles, so look out for them. They're very common. You'll find them in a lot of famous male variations. Next up, we have the switch leap. which is also called jeté cloche, I believe. I think switch leaps are actually pretty universal in other styles of dance.
Yes,
Like
they
in
are.
jazz dance, the girls and the guys will both practice switch leaps.
Yeah, contemporary, modern, all of those other dance styles will definitely have a switch leap in their vocabulary.
Yeah, both for girls and guys.
Exactly.
But in the ballet rep, it's more reserved for the danseurs. For those of you that don't know switch leap or jeté cloche, it's kind of like a elevated version of a grand jeté. So instead of just going straight into the split, you brush forward first and then you switch your legs, boom, into that split, and then you land.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think that action of boom, splitting the leg, it helps you to get that extra lift.
Yeah, an extra lift, an extra ballon, which just makes them look like they're flying.
Switch leaps are everywhere. Flames of Paris. Flames of Paris comes in, boom, right off the bat.
It's a great entrance to a variation.
It is a fantastic entrance. There's also in the talisman variation, also very fantastic.
And several other places.
Yeah, lots of other places. It's almost as common for the danseur as a saut is for the girls.
Yeah,
I
I'd say so.
And the men also do saut.
The men also do grand jetés and saut, but they also have a secret final third thing,
Which is
the switch
the
leap.
switch leap.
Next up, we have a fan favorite, definitely one of our favorites on this list for sure, and this is called the Revoltade, also known as the 540. I think the name 540 is generally more common in like martial arts, if I'm correct about that. But in the ballet world, even though we call it Revoltade, a lot of the time we'll also refer to it as the 540. The 540 is...
To be honest, I still don't know how this stuff
I have no idea how this step works, so our male dancers, again, please enlighten us in the comments on the mechanics of this step. All we know is that it is impossible for us to figure out personally.
It's like you brush the
You have
leg,
to brush,
and
and
you
then-
like you jump over the leg, and then you land.
It looks really cool.
It's a really cool step.
Try jumping over your own leg without lowering it. You guys, it's hard stuff, but it is absolutely breathtaking and it is absolutely incredible to watch.
540s are sometimes performed at the end of a sequence of barrel turns, sometimes at the end of a variation as sort of that final trick. Because it's such a show-stopping wow factor kind of steps that honestly, audience and dancers alike all love. We all appreciate a well done 540.
Yes, we do.
A really iconic place where you can find a 540 is the Le Corsaire Coda. But honestly, I feel like the male variations are so adjusted to suit the dancer's individual strengths. So at the dancer's discretion, he could probably slot in a 540 somewhere if that's a skill that he's really comfortable in.
I think it's very interesting because I feel like the point of balance is very different than we are in most other ballet steps because the weight is like backwards.
If any danseurs want to devote a video to teaching us how to do these male steps,
Please.
I'd be willing to learn or at least attempt to learn.
But as things stand right now, we are always going to be huge fans of watching this step being performed by our gentlemen on the stage. So yeah, the Revoltade or the 540.
Fan favorite, always.
Fan favorite.
Next up on the list, we have barrel turns. And I know you might be thinking of like jet plane barrel turns. And it is actually very similar.
It's very close
to that. I would describe it in like the most basic, crude explanation. Like it's like a Coupé Jeté passage, but like vertical.
Yeah, vertical. Forgive us from our limited knowledge, but just our observation.
Yeah.
The weight placement and axis is very different in the barrel turn than like most other ballet steps, where we want to generally keep the torso very straight up and down, even a little bit forward. But in the barrel turn, the weight placement is much more backward to accommodate the movement, and so everything's kind of revolving on an angle.
Yeah, that's
sort
true.
of.
The axis is almost like on a slant.
Yeah, like so his legs and arms are revolving around his torso, which is on a slant backwards.
But again, it has this gorgeous,
like it's a continuous
circular
feel, and I think because the legs kind of just like alternate with each other, it has that illusion that he never really came down.
Exactly.
Because it just continues to go and go and go and go. Again, this is a fan favorite, also kind of a staple. I feel like it's definitely done a lot of the times in codas and in variations as well. One of our favorite use cases of the barrel turns on manège specifically is in the Grand Pas de Deux in Le Corsaire.
Performed by Ali, our very favorite ballet character.
Yes. He did a very fabulous manège of barrel turns moving in a circle around the stage, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Breathtaking, amazing.
It's amazing. Highly recommend you go watch it. And there are barrel turns in quite a few other places in the ballet repertoire. But yeah.
There you have it. Another big staple and obviously well loved as well. Moving forward to our next step, which is the double assemblé en tournant.
Also known as a grand assemblé.
Assemblé in general is pretty well used in the ballet vocabulary for
Yep.
both the men and the women. You can do it without a turn.
Yep, there's just a regular...
The regular assemblé.
Assemblé.
And then you can also do it with a turn, en tournant. Generally, the girls will just do a single. But of course, for our men, overachievers as they are, they gotta throw in an extra turn in there. Double assemblé en tournant. The step includes a brush of the working leg, and as the dancer takes off into the air, they assemble, as ensemble, the legs in the air as they rotate.
I would say the double assemblé is almost comparable, not comparable, but
Yeah.
like almost a balletic equivalent of like a figure skating jump.
Oh yeah, like
Kind
an
of,
axel, sort
because like you step into it, brush legs, and then you assemble in the air, and you do the turns, and then you land. It kind of gives a similar effect. Assemblés in general, it really gives you a lot of momentum because
Yeah.
you're brushing that leg, and then you know when you assemble in the air, finding that position, you like just sail.
You sail and the turn comes and the momentum comes with it. And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of power in this step. There are a lot of use cases for the double assemblé, and these can be done as a one-off step or consecutively on manège, as seen here performed by Solar in the third act of La Bayadère. And I feel like this is also a very versatile step because it can be kind of like a lead up to another step, so like a connecting step.
Yeah.
It can also be thrown into any combination, or it can be used as like a, you know, sort of a big, like the magnum opus of a
Yes.
piece as well. So the double assemblé, again, wonderful, wonderful step. We love it a lot.
Moving on to number 7, which is the beloved by me double soda basques. The soda basque, as just a single soda basque,
Yes.
is performed universally by both men and women. One of my favorite steps, by the way. If you've
Yeah.
watched our favorite ballet steps video, I love soda basques. But for our danseurs specifically, they are generally expected to perform double soda basques, which, as you might imagine, is like a regular soda basque but with an extra turn.
The soda basque is somewhat similar to the double assemblé.
Kind
I feel
of.
like in essence, because you still have that brush and the
Assemble
assembling
the
of the legs.
position, yeah.
But in this time, we're not assembling in fifth du saut in the air, we're assembling in a passé
Yep.
in the air.
And then you land on one leg.
Yeah, and you're landing on one leg. The double soda basque is another very popular male dancer step. You can see it a lot of the time in manèges. It's kind
Yeah.
of like that combination circling around the stage.
Yep.
It can also be just like as a standalone step by itself, which is always fantastic.
Talisman has some really good double soda basques. Harlequinade has some double soda basques.
I think the main thing with the double soda basque, which is similar to the double tournant layer and also the double assemblé, is keeping that really straight axis line.
Yeah.
Especially for this one though, because you're landing on one foot. But when performed correctly, I feel like it's the most satisfying thing in the world because it's just almost like a torpedo. Just.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, double soda basque. We absolutely love it. Definitely one of our favorite steps. I mean, we said that about a lot of these, but
Yeah.
who can blame us?
Who can blame us, honestly?
We've covered a lot of jumps in this list so far, so we're going to break it up a little bit and go with our turns. And this is our, of course, the iconic Alice Kahn turns, also called grand pirouettes.
Right.
This is kind of the male equivalent of the girls' fouettes turns.
Yep.
You know how the girls would do, fouettes like in Black Swan and Gamzadi and things like that. Kitri. And instead of that, for the male dancers, they'll do these grand pirouettes or Alice Kahn turns.
It's very similar to a fouette. You are still turning consecutively while
On one leg.
on one leg while doing relevés on the supporting leg.
Yes.
Going up and down. But instead of doing a fouette where you pull it in, for the guys, you leave the leg out and you just releve and you just turn.
I think it takes a lot of strength in general to perform these because it's really tempting to let that leg kind of drift
into the front.
But to keep it side, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of strength, but it does help the momentum. And when done right, it's just a blur and it's so cool to watch. You can see these a lot in codas of grand pas de deux, but you can also find them in male variations as well. Like if you look at Talisman and Solar's variation and several others, it's a very common turn for our male dancers because again, it's just a showstopper step. And honestly, watching them, it looks like they could go forever and ever and ever.
There are some times, I don't know if this counts as grand pirouettes, but when they do like the little chugs.
Yeah, the little hop.
Little hops,
Yeah.
and they build up that momentum, and they just releve, and they do like
spin.
doubles or triples, all in that beautiful second position.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the scariest part of Alice Kahn turns is not necessarily the Alice Kahn turns themselves, it's the pull in.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
you know, you're locked in a sort of the second position, right? While you're turning, you're pulling in, you know, like when you pull in, you all of a sudden turn that much faster.
Yeah.
It's so easy to spin out.
So easy to spin out.
So it takes, you know, that awareness of your balance and the strength in the core to really just pull it in with control.
But when done well, it's absolutely breathtaking. It literally will steal the breath out of your lungs. It's so good.
We'll put up some amazing instances of fantastic à la seconde turns up here for you to enjoy for your viewing enjoyment.
Exactly. This one, again, another staple for a fantastic reason, of course. And
the male counterpart of fouettes.
Yes,
affectionately.
The male equivalent of the girls' fouette.
Another famous quintessentially danseur passage is the consecutive entrechat.
We love these ones.
We do. For those of you that don't know, an entrechat is part of the entrechat family. You have entrechat, which is
4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We have entrechat trois, entrechat quatre, entrechat cinq. Now we have entrechat six, which is
1, 2,
beats.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. Some people say that it's 1 beat for each leg.
Exactly.
So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. 1,
technically,
2, 3.
your legs change 3 times.
But it's technically 6 beats.
Basically, you jump up, beat your legs 3 times, and then come down. That's an entrechat six.
There we go.
Now, entrechat six is practiced by both the men and the women. Again,
you can see the girls doing it in the Paquita variations and in the Swan like pas de trois variations.
Yep.
The girls do them, but usually just like in a singular, we'll just do one in a passage. Not including in class. Sometimes we'll do multiples or consecutives, but in repertoire, generally the girls will only do like a one-off entrechat six. However, for our male dancers, they have the wonderful honor of being able to do multiple of these in quick succession. You can see it in Bluebird variations, Grand Pas Classique as well, and several others. This is generally considered another trick step. As we said in, I believe it was
the crowd appeal
ballet steps video. Basically, if you do anything enough times in a row, it's considered a trick step.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same concept for the entrechat as well. The most famous use case of the consecutive entrechat is, of course, in Giselle Act 2, where Albrecht will perform 32 entrechat. Story-wise, it works, but also aside from that, you know, it's a spectacle. It's an amazing spectacle, and yeah, it's a huge wow factor.
Finally, to wrap it up, this is, of course, the one, the only, the iconic Coupé Jeté manège.
However, technically, this is not just a men's step. If you watch Aurora in Act 1 from The Sleeping Beauty, she will do Coupé Jeté en manège, a small one, just before she falls asleep. So,
yeah,
disclaimer, it's not just the boys. That being said, this is primarily a male dancer specialty.
Yeah, manège, quite simply, just means moving around the stage in a circle.
Coupé Jeté in itself can be done in several different contexts. You can do just a one-off one, but Coupé Jeté manège is often found in the end of variations for the male dancers, as well as in the codas somewhere. You know, the girls will do a piqué turn manège and the male dancer will follow or precede her with the Coupé Jeté en manège, and it's just a flurry of amazement.
I think the main concept with Coupé Jetés is just to eat up the space.
Yeah, just
as much as possible.
Just consume the whole stage.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think because you're traveling around the stage, oftentimes if you're in a really big theater, you have quite a huge amount
of ground to cover.
A lot of ground to cover. You know, it's just an opportunity to just expand the stage and really just eat up the space. At the dancer's discretion, he can also add in whatever other trick steps he desires.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a double saut de basque, sometimes it's a couple other really cool steps. Whatever their strengths are, usually they're allowed to highlight those in their jeté manège.
I think technically what I like about this step, and I think what contributes to, you know, the space devouring quality that it has, is just that it's not so much an up and down jump, it's more a stretching forward and out kind of step. And that sort of change in the direction of energy, going forward instead of too much up, it gives him the ability to just cross and cover as much space and as much ground as possible.
Just charge
forward. And it's absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, I think a really famous jeté manège sequence in the ballet repertoire is, of course, Prince Désiré.
Yes.
This is,
wow.
You've heard us talk about this multiple times, I'm sure. Prince Désiré does a double manège.
So he circles twice around the stage.
Circling twice around the stage, doing coupé jetés, chaîné turns, barrel turns, a couple other things.
And then finishes.
Chaîné, 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 and finish. But yeah, a very iconic manège passage. But you'll see manèges pretty much
everywhere. Ali does a manège, Solar does a manège, Basilio does a manège, Golden Idol does a manège.
Everybody.
Because it's just so amazing, and why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
There you
have it, everybody. That was our little spotlight on our male dancers, and those were 10 of the most popular male-specific ballet steps. Again, this is not the exhaustive, full, entire list of the steps that are specific to the male dancers.
There are tons and tons of other really cool male ballet steps and tricks and skills that can be found literally all over the ballet repertoire. And a lot of them are very unique to certain characters and certain roles and even certain danseurs. So to all of our male dancers, definitely let us know your favorite steps below. We're really looking forward to reading them.
We have so much appreciation and respect for the male dancers and all the steps that they get to do. And we hope that we could share our amazement and enthusiasm about these steps with you guys in this video. If you enjoy videos like these, we've actually made a few other videos on various ballet steps, and we will link them above and below in the description box.
Obviously, be sure to like this video if you liked the video. And if you want to see more from us and you want to be part of the road to Ballerina 50K, then you can hit that subscribe button. It is down there for you to use as you please.
And join the Ballet Nerds.
Join the Ballet Nerds.
We'd love to have you.
A moment of appreciation for our patrons on Patreon, especially our proud Ballerina fan, Howard Henderson. Anyways, I think that is all from us for now. This is Ballerina signing off. Until the next video.
Bye. You guys, I'm in such a good mood because my outfit matches the box exactly.
It's actually crazy. The grayish, like, kind of warm gray.
Yeah.
Matches the background.
Matches it.
And she matches the tree.
The plant, you guys. And then you match the table.
And I match the table. Oh my god.
Everything is so cohesive, and it just makes my brain so happy right now.
Combined, we are the box today.
We are the box.
Ladies and gentlemen, but mostly our gentlemen. No, I'm joking.
That's true.
No, I'm joking.
This is for all the
it's for
today.
Everybody. Even the ladies need to appreciate the amazing danseur technique.
I think you should scoot in a little. Maybe? Not as too much. Yeah.
Scoots back out to where I was. Yes.